T. I thought I had it in T. Hey, Bob, how long does it take to tune a 12 string?
Nobody knows.
That's right. It's never been done. All right.
And that is a 12 string you have tonight.
It is a 12 string. I brought this along. I brought this one in the, that one in the Godin, Montreal. This Taylor T3 12 string. Can't seem to get the sound I wanted. I was just switched guitars right before the show started. But that's not what we're here for now. Right now I'm going to say, hello everybody, welcome to Tom's Guitar Show. Tom, people ask me what, because they call me Guitar Tom because I'm often seen with a guitar, and they used to call me back when we had a call-in show and ask me questions like...
Back when people used to talk on the telephone.
That's right. Now people don't want that. They're phone phobic. But in fact, people carry phones in their pockets and they use them for everything except making phone calls. But except for me, I got a flip phone. And if I were going to make a phone call, I'd probably use my flip phone. But I'm not because, you know, I'm society's child. What am I saying? Okay.
And you have a guitar show to do.
That's right. I'm too busy right now. But anyway, so people used to call me on the phone anyway, and they ask me these questions like, "Hey man, what's your show about?" I say, "Oh, it's about an hour. It's about guitar players, guitar playing, all things guitaristic." So we can talk about guitars, care in feeding your guitar, what kind of guitar is right for you, related topics, guitarron, guitarra, sitar, lutes, vihuelas, banjos, balalaikas, bazookas, bajos, sextos, bandurias and bandolins and chitoles, you know, accordions and ocarinas, and pipe organs and piccolos, and harmoniums, harpsichords, harmonicas, trombones, trombomarinas, timbales, and timpani. And we got one for us there, Bob.
Irish harps, pixie harps, and Jews harps.
There we go, yeah. Any of those things. We could talk about clarinets and clavinets, and, you know, blockflöte, and what's the difference between a blockflöte and a recorder? Well, one is a recorder in German, and one's a blockflöte in English. Never mind. And we talk about all those things. I mean, like, I don't know, trumpets and... See, I did trombones and trombomarinas. I'm running out of ideas there.
Well, can we talk about politics and personal events?
Yeah, politics, world events, and your own personality problems. And we're here for you, but we're trying to keep it clean. This is a family program.
And we don't have the 5-second delay.
That's right. Anything that comes out of my mouth. But you know what they say? Out of the mouths of babes comes cereal. Anyway.
What about out of the mouths of grumpy old men?
That's right. Well, that's right. Yeah, PATV, I gave you all my pretty years.
And we are two grumpy old men.
That's right. I wasn't born this way, but I got this way over time.
We might have been grumpy for a long time, but we finally got old.
That's right. I'm getting up there, yeah. So this here, I've got a 12-string guitar fetish. And actually, I'll tell you, the 12-string guitar thing has enhanced my other guitar playing. Because for me, it's all kind of related. When you're on already. So, people say that you should only play the one instrument. You know, they say, if you really want to be, you should just have one guitar. A guy like me should have one classical guitar and play that all the time and nothing else. Because, you know, and I've done that, but I get stale, you see, because I can't say that I'm musically promiscuous on a family show, can I?
You can say anything you want. It's your show.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, okay, so my center personally is classical guitar. And everybody out there who doesn't know what it means, just look up a classical guitar. Maybe go to YouTube or something and look at classical guitar videos of people who know how to play it. And the different, like, there's a huge amount of music, you know, like many centuries of music from all over the world. It could be classical guitar. And it's an approach done on a nylon string guitar, probably without amplification. And that's really cool. And what I've learned from like struggling through Bach lute suites and stuff, and Latin American music, you know, it's been very useful to me in life, throughout life. But I find that playing the 12-string, which I started at a fairly tender age, still in my teens, has helped my classical guitar playing and everything else too. Well, not my personal family budget, but no, I'm talking about my personal.
Your guitar acquisition syndrome.
Yeah, it has.
Puts a dent in that from time to time.
I'm looking at what Pro Shop's got actually a pretty nice Ibanez acoustic electric 12-string I've been looking at. I have two acoustic electric 12-string guitars already. This one's kind of cute because it's handy and kind of smaller and looks like it's fun to play. And I picked it up and said, "Oh, wow." My inner Frenchman said, "Tiens." There's no word for "tiens" in English. I think it's like, "Wow, what's this?" Now you're doing it too.
Put me to sleep.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So
actually, I caught it from you. You did it first.
Yeah, I know. That's me. It's my fault. I'm going to yawn again. Anyway, so but I have a 12-string thing. So one of the things I do on a 12-string is, because you know how that works, the first two strings. This is called the course. Any strings that are tuned to the same note are called the course. So this is 12 strings, but it's actually just a 6-course guitar because the strings are double. So the first two strings, something like that, should be in tune. E strings next to 2 B strings should be in tune, not quite. The next one, G, that one, and the one right next to it is an octave higher. And then the next one, D, and high D, and A, high A, E. So it's a 6-course guitar with a reentrant tuning, as in the strings are not all, they don't keep going down in pitch, they go up. Anyway, so so you get this like, so if I pluck it this way, I get this. But if I pluck it this way, I get, hence, the backstroke. So if I go this way, it sounds like this. If I go this way, it sounds like this. If I turn down the reverb a little bit. Better, I guess. So. Anyway, this is what I'm fooling around with, I guess.
Major third.
Yeah, major thirds. Well, 1, 3, 5. There's the millennial whoop. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, I think I was talking about that last week. I saw this article about why it's not your imagination. The music of today really does stink. But there's one thing that's in a lot of popular songs. It's the millennial whoop, where you take the 5th and the 3rd, and you go back up to the 5th, and you go whoa, 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 or woo, woo, woo. But emoji, whoa, 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 whoa. I want to go whoa, 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 whoa. But I'm not really millennial, I'm not, So to me, that just sounds like whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm going to digress, man. I do that a lot.
It's a guitar.
So when my son was a little kid, I was thinking about all I have these ideas about making this epic PATV movie about this character that I played on this show. It's been a long time, so you probably haven't seen him, but overalls and plaid shirt, plaid hat.
Typical Iowan.
Yeah, what an Iowan is supposed to look like if you live on the coast, somewhere, either coast, any coast. And he's really kind of stupid and innocent. When he stands, he always stands at kind of an angle and goes like this. So and I probably should never play this character again, but he has gone out in fields and blasted guitars with a pheasant gun, 12 gauge, blew it up real good. Anyway, and there's that scene. I don't know if it's still around. We never used it, but it was. We went out in the country and I had this great big pickaxe, and then this guy, George Nicholford's character, played by me, take a big pickaxe and he swings it and goes right through the top of the guitar. So it's only like less than 2 seconds, but the thing is that you can use a pick. Because I'm a fingerstyle guitar player, or you can use a pick, like that. I thought that'd be funny, But I don't know what I was talking about, man. I was going to, before I got onto that, my digressing. Oh yeah. So my son was a little kid. I was thinking about this character, this epic movie we could make about this guy, and he's a guitar player, and he's really stupid, but he watches Tom's Guitar Show, so he gets some education. You see, then there's his arch rival is Johnny Two Chord, also played by me, who would have a guy with a long blonde wig, and looked like something is trying to be a
guy from a hair metal band.
Yeah, a hair band from the '80s, and all he knows how to do, because there's this kid I saw at West Music, and he was trying out a guitar. His parents were standing around, and I decided whether to buy it. It was a Stratocaster that has the whammy bar, So he was like plucking it, wow, wow, wow. He didn't know anything about playing, but he could work the whammy bar, wow, 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 like that, So I thought, well, that would be all that Johnny Two Chord knows how to do. But at the time, you see people playing guitar on TV, like the Jay Leno show or something. What they would do is they would jump up and down while they played. I think it's because they had so much stuff on the stage they couldn't prance around too much, so they had to stay in place, So the guys would jump up and down while they're playing. You see, so the thing about Johnny Two Chord is he really couldn't play at all. But he sure could jump high, and he could use a whammy bar. So in the end of the movie, they have a big guitar duel, and actually George Nicholford, who's an idiot and everything, he plays. He plays really well, actually, something, and the other guy jumps really high. We could, film it with a trampoline, but you wouldn't see the trampoline, you just see him jumping way up high, making moves and everything with a flying V guitar or something. And of course, Johnny Two Chord wins the guitar battle because the other guy actually can play, but it doesn't matter because he can jump high. You see, and then that would be and then they'd wander off into the night, dejected with the angel would give him a guitar of gold or something like that, or some presentiment.
Like Johnny and the Devil Down in Georgia.
Basically, but this would be the opposite. He'd be rewarded.
Oh, Johnny got the gold guitar then.
I guess, but he. The golden fiddle.
Yeah.
The devil went down to Georgia.
Bet this fiddle gold against your soul. I think I'm better than you.
Yeah. Well, this wasn't going to be a soul-selling movie. That was the story that they tell about Robert Johnson. Not the Robert Johnson that was an Elizabethan lute composer, or there was a Bob Johnson that lived in my building once when I.
The Delta Blues player.
Yeah, that Robert Johnson. But it was anyway. But anyway, so the guy would he would George Nicholford would watch Tom's Guitar Show. Maybe I should make that movie. See? I was going to have all these things that would happen to him. Like all kinds of, because we used to do things in the old days at Tom's Guitar Show, especially the Tom's Guitar Show over the North, which is the North Liberty public access show. It was shot in VHS in Bill Gurlitt's basement, and it would be, but it would be played on the public access station in North Liberty. And I used to do a show up there in North Liberty, but you had a half-hour show for a while, and I would do these things like. I'd have the guy try to plug the guitar into the amplifier, and then he'd plug the amplifier into his ear, and then he'd go like that, and then the guy Bill Gurlitz had a fireworks license, so he had all these little things that would go pow 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 on the amp, and things like that, And then there was the one where he's let me just shut that one here for Tom's Guitar Show where he's. Well, that's what we did in his backyard. It was the whole step, half step ratio in the diatonic scale. So like a scale like whole, half, whole, half. So it's 2 frets, 2 frets, 1, 2 frets, 2 frets, 2 frets, 1, whole, half, whole, half. So he demonstrates this by taking big steps for the whole step, and then little steps for the half step. But the last half step, he trips, and he's holding his guitar like this. He falls down, and then when he gets up, the guitar has been is completely crushed, flattened, and of course, then he's looking But that was actually I had 2 guitars that looked the same, and one of them was actually playable, and the other one was like the neck was messed up really bad. It was never going to play again. So that one I drove over with a van, another George Nickelfritz sketch, and so I had they looked like the same guitar, but one was totally flattened out by a '77 Dodge half-ton cargo van, and so he gets up and smashes stuff like that, you know. And there was the one, of course, where he drives over that was when So the guy's walking out to his van with his guitar, and then he trips over his shoelace, so he leans the guitar up against the back of the van to tie his shoe, and then obviously forgets it, gets in the van, starts it up, and then backs over it and crushes it. That one squished real good. That's a big van, you know. That was Detroit steel. And anyway, so we did a lot of guitar violence. I was actually in communication with a company that had imported a bunch of guitars from China. And a lot of them were defective and they couldn't ship them. And I was going to try to get them at a tremendous discount. I couldn't get the kind of discount I wanted, though. I wanted them practically free.
Yeah, you don't want to pay much. You're going to drive a van over it.
Yeah, I'll drive. I wanted to do the one where the guy's out in a canoe and they have their and there are always these flashes in the dream. These are all like silent movies done with interesting kind of whimsical musical soundtrack, which I would record, of course, and compose. But you get have to get an actress who can swim in a dress, and the thing would be that they would be he would be talking about it. Oh, wait, taking her for a boat ride, you know, and so she's done up in her, you know, with like hat and a dress and everything. And in her mind, she's imagining
dressed up for a date.
Yeah, she's imagining she's on a yacht, or maybe like a motorboat. Maybe we could go down to the reservoir and have pictures of her, like in her mind. She's sitting in this wonderful boat or something like that, and then get somebody to borrow somebody's boat for a couple minutes, and then but it turns out it's a dumpy little canoe, and maybe he so he's singing like, let's fall in love, why shouldn't we fall in love, la, 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 like that, and then he takes the guitar and uses it for a paddle. Yeah. Which isn't easy to do, because I was on a date like that once, and she never went out with me again, but in fact her very words were, "Oh, you nut," as I use it. But it's really hard to sink the guitar. Yeah. And then when you get it down there, it's really hard to get it back up again. So you have to know how to balance yourself in a canoe so you don't tip it over, because it's going to tip this way when you sink it, but then when you finally get it down there, it fills up with water, because it displaces water, Anyway, so he's, and then of course after she sees the guy using the guitar for a paddle, and she's urged by his singing and playing anyway, she jumps out of the canoe and swims away, which I always thought was funny. And years later, I saw the Red Green show where he's out in a pontoon boat with this guy who's a kind of a storyteller, compulsive liar guy, and he stops his pontoon boat there, and he says, "Well," and he starts telling Red Green these things, and Red says, "No, I think I got to swim home from here." Anyway, all the Tom's Guitar shows we didn't make. Tell you the truth, we don't really work that hard this show. If we did have to work really hard for this show, I would have stopped making the show. Let's make a show almost 24 years ago. It'll be 24 years ago this summer sometime, maybe later this summer, maybe August. I don't know, late July, August, something like that. So the show's not quite 24 years old yet. But if I had to work really hard on it, it would have been done like a little over 23 years ago.
So if any viewer out there wants to make a TV show, It ain't that hard. Come on down to public access TV and you can do it.
That's right. You can do it. I've done it thousands of times. Bob, you've done it. I don't know. Where did you start here? Or I'm trying to remember what year.
'05, I think.
Okay. That was 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you think about 13 years and you make about 50 shows a year,
Yeah.
I mean, you do the math.
Yeah.
Seriously, you do the math. 650, something like that.
Yep. Well, I've shot other things that go on here too.
Yeah, you put out things on here too, but you haven't done those shows because you snowbird.
Yeah.
Okay, you haven't done any 650.
No, I'm
Probably like.
I probably miss 10 a year, so probably 40 a year.
Yeah, okay, that's 400 plus 120, that's 520.
Yeah.
Oh, you only done 520, man. You're about to neophyte. I've done way over 1,000.
Yeah, I'm part-timer.
That's right. I've done every single show. I've missed a few and had other people fill in for me, but anyway, what I do though is I'll sit home and I'll think, what am I doing this show? What do I really want to play? Things I don't think I can probably get away with. In a gig situation where I'm trying to make people happy. So I think, well, what can I do on Tom's Guitar Show this week? I think
Yeah, I was thinking we could get, say, a big pizza and a 6-pack.
Mm-hmm.
You could spend the whole hour tuning a 12-string, and we'd give the prizes to whoever watched the whole thing and could prove it.
Yeah. Well, we could. I was just talking before we started the show. We could have a whole show of me trying to tune the 12-string.
Yeah.
Just sitting there doing. There were these.
That's what I say, and then a prize for who could prove they watched the whole thing.
Whoever could prove they watched the whole thing, because like numbers would come up or something.
Yeah.
Somebody had to prove it. Yeah. Yeah. Huh. We could just like tape somebody into a lazy boy and take their eyes open and have somebody come around and put drops in them, so they wouldn't dry out, and make them watch it. Put a big screen so even if they try to look away, they'll still see it.
Then we might as well keep the prize.
That's right. Well, maybe that'd be a prize enough. I don't know. I'm going to put you over there. There is a thing about 12 strings. I haven't quite got the sound I want out of this one, but I got to tell you, I was working this one at home, and I tried it through a slightly different amp. And, I have the guitar acquisition syndrome, but it doesn't just stop at guitars. I mean, there are other things, banjos and ukuleles and mandolins.
And amps.
But that's the problem, amps. Okay, so, all right, I'm going to yawn, but this is a PV Valve King, which is a tube amp. Not overly expensive, but still like, in the $600 range. Not exactly cheap. Not a modeling amp. It's a real tube amp. But this is the 50-watt one. And then there's also a 20-watt one, which looks exactly like it. And it has most of the same controls on it. And the only difference is it has different tubes and stuff in it. And maybe a different speaker. Now, at home, I have the 20-watt head and speaker combo. So it's in two pieces. This is what they call a combo amp. So this part here is, the amplifier is, you see. And down there is a speaker cabinet. So you can buy an amp that has the amplifier part on top where all the tubes and stuff are, and the knobs in the front of it, and then you have a speaker in a separate cabinet. And I've been playing this guitar, and the one that I'm about to play here. I should quit fooling around and get that one going. And I was really liking the sound I was getting from my 20-watt cabinet and my 20-watt head cabinet combination. But I didn't want to carry the two boxes, and they're kind of more of a hassle. And I can't put it on this one guitar stand and all that stuff, so I just took this one. So part of my dysfunction or sickness, I don't know what you want to call it, is that I kind of want to borrow one of those 20-watt combo amps, and take it home, and see how it differs. From my head So, in theory, I could either swap the head cab combo, but I think I tried that once before, and I noticed it sounded different. The head combo thing, even though it's supposed to be the same tubes. So part of me says, if I play a guitar like this 12-string over here, it sounds a lot better through the other one with the different tubes. And I think one is patterned more after like a Fender amp, and one's patterned more after the Marshall amp or something like that. The tubes are different. I don't know my tubes that well. I'm almost afraid to get in the wonderful world of tubes, because sometimes people get a replacement tube that's from some obscure factory in the Czech Republic, because a lot of people don't make vacuum tubes anymore.
Yeah, vacuum tubes are pretty much a dying breed.
Yeah, they still make them in some places, but usually, they're just so. So I think, wow, maybe I should try that. Maybe I should get the 20-watt combo amp, and then I have three. You see, I'm not proud of this, but this is the way I live,
Anyway, you said the name of this. That reminded me. That's what they used to call tubes, was valves.
Yeah. Well, that's what they. Yeah. Well, they still do in some in the music world. I mean, who really uses tubes except for musicians, and then real super hardcore stereo buffs? Yeah. Some people like the sound of a valve or
in high power radio amplifiers, there are still a few. They've pretty much gone away there too, but there are still some.
I just don't get the sound I like out of solid-state amps that much. I like them fine for acoustic guitar amps. I think they're great, you know.
And they're more durable than tubes.
Yeah, and they're a lot easier to deal with, cheaper. They don't. I mean, they don't have to like replace transistors very often or whatever. But I mean, I have a solid-state amp that I'm using over at the Tuscan Moon. I've had it on the show a couple of times. They roll in JC40.
That's the place you play on weekends?
Yeah, I'm there on the weekends. I'll be there Thursday and Saturday. It turns out that this is the week of the vascular surgeon's graduation banquet, so I'm going to play a banquet at Hampshire, actually, and on Friday night. But Thursday I'll be at the Moon, and Saturday I'll be at the Moon, and maybe I'll, yeah. And I'll be, I think I'll be, I try to get there pretty early on Thursday, because they close at 9. The kitchen closes at 9 instead of 10. So I try to shoot for 5, and you know, if there are people there, I'll try to start playing as soon as possible. But I usually don't play till 5:30 or so. But say my gigs are turning into 4 hours.
That's just a few miles out of town, down Highway 1 from Iowa City, or off exit 80 on 218.
That's right. I prefer the 218 because you can pass people, and you can go. It's a 65-mile-an-hour speed limit, and so
you don't have the horses and buggies on 218.
Right. You will have Highway 22, but really you're only there for like what, 7 or 9 miles or something. I think it takes a little while to get into Riverside. We don't see horses and buggies on your way into Riverside. And then from there, you know, it's just 7 miles, I think, from the outskirts of Riverside to the outskirts of Kelowna. So I was going to say something that's a pretty short skirt, but I know it's these are not major metropolitan areas, but they're little towns with a lot of heart. Let's put it that way. But yeah, so I'll be Thursday and Saturday. I'll be taking Friday. I won't be taking it off. I'll be at the vascular surgeons.
They need a reservation this time of year?
I would recommend a reservation on Saturday for sure. I recommend it. I mean, what does it take to call? It might be a busy Thursday. It hasn't been as busy as I thought it would be. So we'll see. But I'll be there anyway, and I might try to play this guitar. This here is a Godin Montreal, and I forget what they call this particular. It's a hollow body, right? It's got the F holes. It's not very deep, but it's, you know, it goes down about that far, 3 inches. I don't know. So it has 2 humbuckers, and it has the splitters on them. So if you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 position switch here, so 5 position switch between these 2 pickups, and then in the in-betweens are single coil mode, and then this one is both pickups here together. This one is like single coil. But this knob here is interesting because this thing here is the volume for the piezo. See, now if I have it away from if I turn that off, you're not gonna hear anything. You hear the regular. If I turn this up, I get the piezo. If I turn this down, you get just the piezo. Sounds like an acoustic guitar.
Which isn't a magnetic pickup.
Yeah, it's not the magnetic pickup. It's a
mechanical pickup.
Yeah, well, it takes the vibration of the string on the saddle itself and vibrates it. And you know, that vibration causes like a weak electrical current. I think it's got some sort of quartz or something in here. It's the material they use. And by vibrating that, it causes a signal, you see. Whereas these are magnetic pickups. So yeah, it's a very interesting, occupies a very interesting kind of sound. Kind of like the crispness and the Interesting guitar, really. So it's it doesn't really make that great electric guitar. It doesn't make that great acoustic electric guitar, but it's a pretty interesting combination. And try do it again. I had a similar guitar, a Dean, that was it was the same principle, but it made a lot of extraneous noises I didn't like. And it was kind of cool looking and everything, but it was kind of cheap. It's like more show than go. Made in China. This is made in Quebec by Quebecois. And, I don't know. North Americans are we going to war with Canada now? Is that the new thing?
Trade war.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think they probably saw the handwriting on the wall. Sooner or later, we're going to get like a Trump type of character here. So they have a they have a little factory in Vermont or New Hampshire or someplace kind of close by. It's close by to Canada.
So you can assemble them in the U.S.
Yeah, so they have that U.S. thing going. So yeah, like the Honda that my wife drives, the little Honda Fit, is actually made in Alabama or someplace. I think.
Well, my Vibe was assembled in California. Yeah. My daughter has a Matrix, which is the same car, only with a Toyota logo on it. It was made in Canada.
I see. I'm not going to learn that song, It's a Small World After All. For one thing, the Disney people have it heavily copyrighted, but I don't like that song. If you've ever been to Disneyland, they keep playing it.
Yeah.
Used to be you could buy a little music box, ding, 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 ding. I'm not gonna do it, and I don't want to get stuck in my head. But yeah, sorry. I had this. I have a kind of a phonographic memory in a sense. I'm not like we talked about this in the show. I'm not like Mozart. He was, he heard this piece he really liked at the Vatican, and they wouldn't let the music out of the Vatican, so he went home and wrote it out by memory later that night. And this is an orchestral piece. But as far as getting an earworm, I'm in a more advanced state because I've actually memorized quite a bit of music, and I've kind of like part of my mind is exercised to the point where I'm probably better at it than like a non-musician. So I was thinking, I had this thing going through my head over and over again that I didn't want there at all. And it was a terrible thing. Somebody, I had a kid, he's all grown up, he's got a beard now, but when he was a little kid, there's this well, when little kids, they're little, they have to wear diapers, and then you have to go through this transition when you lose the diaper, right? And this can be traumatic. I think you should do it without judgment and getting emotional about it. And as far as I can tell, like my kid's not like emotionally damaged in any way that I'm aware of, and so certainly not by me. So, but somebody helpfully gave us, some relative of some sort gave us a tape, and it's potty time. And I knew I shouldn't. I should leave. I couldn't leave, and I should never.
Like Pavlov's dog.
What?
Like Pavlov's dog.
Well. No,
you play the song and he goes to the toilet?
No, it's a self-esteem thing.
Oh.
And there were actors in it starring a beautiful, probably mixed race woman, African and European would be my best guess, American. And then a guy played the father, and he was somewhat obese, teddy bear-ish looking African American chap. And they had this beautiful little girl who was, looked like that sort of mixed, European and African girl. And they had this thing, and the parents, people playing the parents would sing this song about how she's a super duper pooper. and it's just it was a march, 1 and 2, marches in 2/4 time. Yeah. It's very compelling because it's left, right, everybody marches together, right? She's a super duper pooper. She can potty with the best. No more diapers to get in her way. We are very impressed. And that was terrible. It's terrible music. The message is nothing that we want to. It shouldn't really be a self-esteem thing. It's just like it sure is inconvenient, to have the diapers and stuff. Life is much better without diapers. And it's true. That was my point of view. And with every child, I'm an uncle too, and I've been a teacher, and I've been around a lot of little kids and stuff. I had my own little kid, and I had close relatives that I would take care of to some degree, when they were little, and they're all grown up now. But my view toward this toilet training is that you should, that it's just inconvenient and uncomfortable, Yeah. And when you get past that in life, things are better. And whenever you can get past something inconvenient, it's better. Same thing's true with high school. Nice thing about high school, it's like banging your head against the wall. It feels so good when you stop. You get past these things in life. So my father says he's actually quite happy with his life. He's 92, and anyway, so
he's passed pretty much everything. Yeah, no problems anymore.
That's right. His granddaughters have married, and 3 of them have children of their own. Some of those children are getting pretty tall. He's a great grandfather, and when those nieces were little, I thought I was a good uncle, but now I'm a great uncle.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this guitar. I'm sorry about that, bringing up that song, by the way. I hope nobody gets it stuck in their brain. It's like you don't want to be exposed to things, and I should be playing guitar, not talking and philosophizing, but after all these years, I just keep talking. But anyway, when I was a kid, I'm reminiscing, excuse me, but I'm a raconteur. So when I was a kid, 2 big movies were, when I was a young fellow, teenager, whatever, Jaws and The Exorcist. And we had a farm in Washington County, not too far from Iowa City, and we had a pond, and it was a really nice swimming pond. You go swim in the pond, and you catch fish in the pond. It was nice, a better swimming pool, and it was fun. You'd float around all day. But after Jaws came out, which I did not see, I just didn't go to Jaws. It was all the rage, and I didn't want to be scared by the big, giant killer shark. But there were people who were afraid to get in the pond because they watched Jaws. And there were bluegills in there and some catfish. Thinking, oh, the bluegill, I mean, you catch little bluegills, if you get like a half a dozen or more of them, you can pan fry them and have go to the local corn stand and build a little fire and roast your bluegills and roast your corn, and have yourself a nice camping dinner by the pond. But nothing to fear in that pond. I mean, you could drown, but you're not going to, nothing, maybe there'd be some sort of bacteria in there or something, but there's no, anyway. And then the other thing was The Exorcist. So that one, there's one kid who had made himself a cross, and he would sleep with a cross on his chest like this because he was so frightened. And he was a Baptist, I mean, the demon possession, that's really that's a Catholic fantasy, you see. Now, and I was a Catholic boy, so I didn't see it. I didn't go to it. I did other things in my life, and I didn't have these irrational fears of demon possession and killer sharks in the farm pond. I just didn't get it in there.
Somebody emailed me a joke the other day about a farmer who had a pond out on his farm, and his apple trees were down there. So one day he was going down to get some apples with a bucket, and there were some girls skinny dipping in his pond. And they said, "Well, we can't get out of your pond. We don't have anything on." They said, "Okay, but I came down here to feed the alligator, and he likes it down there at the deep end."
Yeah. I think I know that joke. That's a classic.
Probably. If it's coming around on email, it probably gets sent to everybody on email sooner or later.
It's pre-email. I must have heard that joke, in the 70s, because we had a pond. Yeah, I think I heard. Yeah, that's a classic. Yeah, skinny dipping is a time-honored tradition. But
back in the old country, we used to do it down at the old strip mines. There's over in Fulton County. There's a lot of old They used to strip mine coal over there a lot, and most of them filled up with water, so people fish in them and swim in them.
Well,
and the Chicago Metropolitan Sanitary District dumps treated sewer sludge in them.
That too.
Yeah, they bought some, and they claim they're restoring the land. The stuff's all treated, perfectly healthy.
Right.
So they send barges down the Illinois River down to Fulton County and pipe treated sewer sludge up into the old strip mines.
Yeah, I'm sure that works great.
Well, that was back in the day. Nowadays, strip mines have to restore the land after they're quit, but in those days, you just left a big open pit.
That's right.
So there's big open pits all over Fulton County.
Yeah, it depends on what's down those pits, I suppose. But I had a friend who had a quarry, the Dingleberry brothers. I think they were two Native Americans, is a story I heard, that lived near here a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, that's Dingleberry Road.
That's that was their land. But they had quarries to limestone or whatever it was. They to get gravel to build Interstate 80. So there are a couple of quarries there. And a friend of mine his family had one of those quarries. So we'd swim in that, and that was rock, and had a pebble beach or whatever like that. Somebody took a load of sand there, but it rained and all washed it. But it was a quarry. It's fairly deep with water, and it was clean-ish and had some fish in it. And I used to swim there a lot too.
I remember when Enhanced 911 came in, they put street signs on all the streets. Everybody had to have a street address. And they put the Dingleberry Road signs up. Some of the people along there didn't want that to be Dingleberry Road.
Yeah.
There's a big feud over that for a while.
I think
and somebody kept stealing the signs for a while. It seems like they stay there now. Probably every fraternity has one now. So
they all got one, yeah. I think a dingleberry is a slang term for something logical. But
yes.
Yeah.
We can discuss it after we get off the air.
Yeah, well, you don't have to talk, because we all know what we're talking about. But there were actually two brothers who owned land north of Iowa City, and I think they were Native American.
That was the story about the road.
Yeah, and I don't know.
They had a farm down there along Dingleberry Road. That's why they called it Dingleberry Road.
Right, and I don't know when that was or what became of them. I just know that when they built Interstate 80, they sold some land or leased some land to be quarried for gravel to make the interstate. So interesting we should find out about the history of the Dingleberry brothers. See if any of their descendants still live among us.
So if anybody's out there viewing and knows, send us Tom's tweets up there. Tweet us.
Right. Send me a message via allthingsguitartom.com for that matter. But I don't know what to play this thing, but I'm kind of getting into this tone. Skopinski's either give me the peace sign or tell me there's 2 minutes left. Should have played more with this guitar, but this is actually kind of an interesting tone. There's a lot of control. These controls here, these faders up here, control the acoustic guitar sound. I have everything turned up max here. Everything's turned up all the way. And the
story about the peace sign. Roman centurion walked up to the bar, said 5 beers.
Okay, 5 beers. What they tell us is that if you go to England on vacation or something and you want to go up to the bar and you ask for 2 beers, you can go 2 beers. Don't go 2 beers, because that means something else in English. So
Okay. If I ever get to England,
don't reverse your fingers. It's fingertips out. That's all. Because
it's a rude gesture in England, huh?
that's right. You know the famous George Bush one finger salute?
Yeah.
There's a video of that.
Yes, I have that.
I think Trump is more nasty and obscene than Bush was, but Bush, yeah. Anyway, I gotta finish this show, so I'll be back next week. Check me out Thursday, Saturday at the Tuscan Moon in beautiful downtown Kelowna, Iowa, about 20 miles south Iowa City. Easy to find Tuscan Moon. Make reservations. I'll be back next week. Bye, everybody.